At LHTC Broadband, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. We're your local choice for TV, phone, and internet. We offer high-quality cable TV service with HD, multi-room DVR, on-demand, and watch TV everywhere. Plus unlimited calling, and our internet is faster than ever with speeds up to 1 gigabyte. With no contracts and local customer service, switching has never been easier. Call today, 724-593-2411, or visit lhtcbroadband.com.
Next on Westmoreland Saturday morning, it's Heritage Happenings brought to you by St. Vincent College here on 98.7 Westmoreland Gold, 1480 WCNS, and westmorelandgold.net.
Greetings, Westmoreland County. Happy 2022. My name is Jessica Petrovich, and I am your Westmoreland Heritage Director and host of Heritage Happenings here on 98.7 Westmoreland Gold, 1480 WCNS, and westmorelandgold.net, sponsored by St. Vincent College. Heritage Happenings is also available as a podcast on all of your favorite streaming services. Please check out Westmoreland Heritage at westmorelandheritage.org and on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram for updates on cultural and historical events throughout Westmoreland County. We have a packed show today. We'll be joined by guests from the Greater Latrobe-Laurel Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce, Bushy Run Battlefield, and Greensburg Civic Theatre. Our first guest, Brianna Tomac, Executive Director, is on call with us this morning from the Greater Latrobe-Laurel Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce. Brianna, thank you so much for joining us on today's show.
Of course. Thanks for having me. I'm so happy to talk to you.
And the new year is the perfect time to refresh your memory if you're a member of a Chamber of Commerce or if you would like to be one. It's just, a new year, time to start a new relationship with the organization in your area. So, Brianna, could you tell us all the great things that your specific Greater Latrobe-Laurel Valley Chamber of Commerce offers and anything you can offer listeners throughout the year?
Being a Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber is not a government entity, and we don't promote any political agenda, but we do advocate on behalf of local businesses. Mm-hmm. We pride ourselves on advocating for business-friendly practices. We do work with the Pennsylvania and the United States Chamber on a lot of issues that affect local businesses, and we promote economic growth in the area, and we work closely with our Revitalization Corporation here in Latrobe to attract new businesses just to make Westmoreland County, or just to make our Latrobe area and the Greater Latrobe region a great place for families to live and thrive.
And especially the past year, I feel like past 2 years now, my goodness, have been more essential than ever to have a good relationship with your local chamber.
It is. And we really have gotten a lot of people reaching out, both chamber members and non-members, to ask for advice and to get guidance because things have been so confusing. At first it was, just policies as they related to COVID and how to operate your business safely, upon the reopening. A lot of things now with vaccines and the vaccine mandate, people are concerned about, what may happen if that goes into effect. There are a lot of issues surrounding childcare, which is one of the reasons why, some of our employees have not been back to work because there are still a lot of childcare shortages, which, stems back to the worker shortage also. So our chamber members, we're often able to, we may not have all the answers, but we know how to find answers.
Yes.
And that's what we've been trying to do for people.
Well, Brianna, if somebody listening is interested in potentially joining the chamber or just getting some information, who should they contact? What's the best way to go about getting that information?
Well, you can go on our website, of course, at glv.org, and there is a section on there where you can explore membership options and join right online if that's your cup of tea. But we do have our membership coordinator, Lauren Gamrat, who is our expert. And if you would want to talk to her about what benefits that it could have for your business or how the chamber could help you specifically, you can always give us a call here at the office and ask to speak to Lauren or myself, and we can talk about if the chamber would be a good fit for your business.
And speaking of all of the great things that are coming up on the horizon for the chamber, I have two wonderful things that I know you'd like to talk about this morning. New and exciting for the chamber in 2022, we have the LeaderCast Summit and some work with your education committee. So could you tell us about that?
Well, sure. The LeaderCast Summit is actually it's a new. This is the first time we've ever done this program. It's actually a national simulcast, and there are 10 very well-known speakers, including Rainn Wilson from The Office.
Yes.
That will be...
AKA Dwight Schrute.
The NFL. Yes, I know. I was like, yeah, everybody will recognize that name. But yeah, there are a lot of just very, very well-respected speakers, and they're going to be talking about how to lead your organizations through a lot of changes, significant changes like we've been experiencing over the past 2 years, and how to be a good leader, how to retain engagement with your team, and still maintain productivity while being a nurturing leader with a lot of the situations that people are dealing with externally. So we're really looking forward to that. We do still have some tickets available. It's an all-day event. It's on January 25th. It'll be held at the Greater Latrobe High School at the Student Center for Student Creativity. But if people would like tickets to that, of course, they can call the chamber or email us, go on our website at gllv.org, or email me at Brianna, BRIANA, @gllv.org.
And this event, too, if you are interested in any of these topics, we highly recommend going. And it's just really nice to see this initiative coming from the Greater Latrobe-Laurel Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce this year. And one final local bit of work that you can do with the chamber. I had mentioned earlier the education committee. I would love to hear more about that.
Well, the chamber for many, many years has done a lot of educational programs within our school districts, largely as they relate to career exploration and, finding, what you want to do with your life. And we partner with the school districts to do that. This year, after taking last year off due to COVID, we spent last year kind of revamping and refreshing a lot of the programs that we offer. And we have... we are going back into the schools this year. So we do a lot of interview workshops. We do some career exploration training. We do things that we have an economics program and an entrepreneurial program. So these programs, of course, take a lot of manpower and a lot of volunteers. So we certainly could not do it without the help of all of our chamber members. And we have so many chamber members in many, many different lines of business and many different career paths and fields of study that that's, a benefit to our students to be able to actually talk to our leaders in the local community who are actually doing these jobs and, talk to them about what it might be like to do that someday, or how did you get started, or what did you, how did you get interested in that? So the programs that we do, and some of them are actual requirements for graduation within the Pennsylvania Department of Education. So, we are very proud to partner with the schools and help meet those requirements for our students. So we still need volunteers for lots of our programs. So if you feel like you would like to be involved in the schools and talking to our school kids, you can also contact us at the chamber and talk about what programs we have upcoming.
Well, Brianna, thank you so much for sharing all of these great developments for the new year with the Chamber of Commerce. And again, just to highlight a few of the main talking points that we had here, we have the LeaderCast Summit. That's January 25th, and you can contact the Chamber for tickets to that event. And also the Education Committee, with all of their great work they do throughout the school year, you can contact them as well. Thank you so much for your time this morning, Brianna. This is great.
Oh, thanks for having me. I always love talking to you. And
likewise.
I hope to see you in person soon.
Yes, me too. So please check out the Greater Latrobe-Laurel Valley Regional Chamber of Commerce at gllv.org. You can also find them on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This is Heritage Happenings, the show with the latest information on Westmoreland County cultural and historical events and organizations. I'm Jessica Petrovich. Thanks to our sponsor, St. Vincent College, for supporting our show today. Our next guest, Sean McIntyre, museum facilitator at Bushy Run Battlefield, is on call with us. Sean, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Glad to be back with you.
Well, Bushy Run already has had some fantastic events in 2022. You know, we're only halfway into January and you're already hitting the ground running. A lot of sites hibernate during the winter, but Bushy Run just keeps going. So, Sean, what are some of the great winter events that you've held already this year and late last year, too?
Late last year, we had our Christmas sale, which is always a huge favorite. We had probably about 300 people through the door.
Wow.
To buy stuff from local merchants and from our gift shop itself. So it was a lot of people coming in and going the whole day. It was a pretty busy day for us.
Mm-hmm.
And then this past Saturday, we actually had our archaeology day with Westmoreland Archaeological Society. Before 10:30 a.m., we opened at 10, and we had like a dozen people through the door already. We ended up seeing probably 30 to 35 people on Saturday just coming through the museum and Archaeology Day.
And for the Archaeology Day, were there things found on site live, or were presenters bringing things in for people to see?
Westmoreland Archaeology brought some of the stuff in. One of the gentlemen that was there was actually on one of the digs at Bushy Run, so he had a lot of interesting information. And we had some stuff from our personal collection out as well.
Wow. And, you know, Bushy Run, of course, being one of the key sites in the French and Indian War. There's lots to find, I'm sure. And if we keep on digging, we're going to find even more in the years to come. So that's very exciting. And of course, these are just a few of the events that you've held this year. And if you go to Bushy Run's website or their social media, you will see already planned out for 2022, I think over 20, perhaps 20 exactly events happening throughout this year. Sean, what are some other highlights coming up in 2022? There's just so much going on for anything you can imagine at Bushy Run.
Yeah, we've added some new events this year. One of which is we have our Pontiac Explorer Symposium, which is happening March 19th. It'll be at the museum. It's an all-day event. We're going to have speakers from local college professors and authors to people from the Seneca Nation coming down to talk about Pontiac Explorer. So it should be a very interesting day and a good educational day.
And can you register for that on the website? What's the procedure for that?
Yeah, you can do it through our website or through our social media.
Great.
And it's an Eventbrite site, so you can just register online.
Wonderful.
And then we have this Saturday, we have our Games Day coming up. It's tabletop gaming, and they're war type games. So we'll have several tables set up and people there to run them. So even if you're new at doing this type of gaming, you can learn a little bit. And by the end of the day, you'll be getting used to how to play these games. And that's just our regular admission to the museum, and you get the entrance to the museum and the chance to play the games and learn how to do all that.
Oh, that's amazing. What else is coming up? We have, games, we have archaeology. As I said earlier, man, this just spans every bit of creativity that you could muster out of Bushy Run.
Yeah, and in May, we're looking at our this is going to be another new event that's called Armies Through the Ages. It's basically going to span a timeline from, we're going to have reenactors from the medieval period all the way up to World War II.
Wow.
That's who I'm reaching out to, so I'm hoping to have a decent amount of groups there. We have a event in April called Art with Henry, which we're going to have local artists doing displays. We're trying to get some artists to paint outside during the day, and then it'll be a sort of like an art gallery opening in the evening. So
that's beautiful.
It'll be local art, and there's going to be some refreshments and stuff served that night, and that'll be on our website here soon.
Now, Sean, I was also noticing when I was looking through your events, you have these star parties. That just sounds amazing. And this, I believe that's new. I don't recall seeing any kind of party like this before at Bushy Run.
Yeah, this is something they did in the long past. And then we have a couple of new volunteers who are very interested in it. One of whom is a professor at Greensburg who actually teaches physics and astrophysics. So
wow,
he has a lot of information there. So we're going to take advantage of him being a volunteer and invite out a local astronomy group to actually host a couple star parties at the battlefield. It's a good place to observe the skies. It's nice and dark on the field at night, so it's a good chance to see some of the stars and see some of the astronomical things that are out there.
And, all of these events just make me so grateful that a place like Bushy Run exists in Westmoreland County. And even if, if none of these sound like your cup of tea, which I don't know how they couldn't because it's all just so fun and educational, the museum itself and the grounds, now the grounds, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's open year round, right?
Yes, the grounds are open year round, and we're actually open weekends through the winter as well.
That's what I figured. The museum now, inaugural effort by you here, Sean. So kudos to you. And the museum will be open on winter weekends. So if you have the opportunity, definitely go and visit Bushy Run Battlefield. Even if you would not like to attend any one of the events, the grounds and the museum themselves are always wonderful options. And you've talked so much about volunteers, and I know all of the sites that we talk to on this show are just so heavily influenced by the amazing volunteers that work with you in the county and in these specific sites themselves. If somebody wants to volunteer to help out at Bushy Run, how do they go about doing so, and what opportunities are there?
They can apply to be a volunteer on our website, or they can stop in at the museum and see me and fill out. We have a handwritten application at the museum itself. We have opportunities, everything from tour guides to working at the front desk and greeting people to helping out with the special events that we have coming up. We usually need a lot more hands on special event weekends, so having extra people there is definitely a good deal.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
And if, honestly, I'm the only paid employee at Bushy Run besides the state employee who maintains the grounds. Mm-hmm. So our volunteers are basically who run the show. I'm just their employee, basically.
Yeah. And as it says in your name, facilitator, you truly, it takes an army, really, is appropriate to say that it takes to run Bushy Run Battlefield. And it's very evident by the amount of events coming up that you certainly are leading an incredible group of people. So if you have the chance, anybody who is listening, to visit Bushy Run in 2022, check out their event listings and just make it a point to get them on your calendar. Sean, anything else to share from Bushy Run Battlefield?
The only other thing we have coming up is that's something that's a huge favorite every year is we have our spring and fall tea scheduled again. That's usually a very nice day of proper tea with hors d'oeuvres and everything else served during it, and usually some entertainment during that day. So the women that put it together at the museum do an amazing job, and it is definitely one of the highlights of the season for us.
Well, Sean, thank you so much for your time this morning. It's always wonderful to talk about Bushy Run.
All right. Thank you for having me on again.
Please check out Bushy Run Battlefield at bushyrunbattlefield.com, and you can also find them on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. This is Heritage Happenings, the show with the latest information on Westmoreland County cultural and historical events and organizations. I'm Jessica Petrovich. Thanks to our sponsor, St. Vincent College, for supporting our show today. Our next guest, Edward Bastido, director of the Greensburg Civic Theatre's production of Rent, is on call with us right now. Edward, thank you so much for joining us today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Rent is one of the most beloved musicals for both theater enthusiasts, myself, and casual attendees. So what led to this exciting choice for Greensburg Civic Theatre to tackle? It's certainly not an easy show.
It's definitely not an easy show. There's 47 songs in the show, so it's not an easy task to take over.
Wow.
So I talked to a few people, and they said, they haven't had a show in so long because of the pandemic, and what better way to do a show that people love. It's a cult, and it will fill the seat.
I was just going to say, Rent, it has that name recognition where even if you are mildly aware of theater, you have heard of Rent. Even if you don't know what it's about, you've at least heard the title before.
Yes. I mean, you figure there's a movie out there. People have seen a movie, the NBC production of it, on stage. Yeah.
And Edward, what has the audition and rehearsal process been like so far? And you mentioned, it's been so long for so many theater companies and theaters themselves since live theater has been in place. I'm sure it's been exhilarating for everybody involved.
Yeah. So the audition process was a little bit different than I'm used to. So I had a live audition audition, and then I had people send video submissions in.
Oh, wow. What was that like for you as a director?
So it was odd because, people who send videos in, people who make TikTok, they take like 2 hours for them to make. So they don't have that 5 minutes to sing the song and leave. So they were able to hone it into the way they like it. So we asked some people to send another video in to hear them how they sang. So it was a little bit different than, hey, here's a piano player, sing it right now.
Right.
So they had a little bit more of advantage than people who came live, but people who came live also had that advantage too. So it was kind of a win-win situation for either way they auditioned. In rehearsals, 47 songs, that's a lot.
Yes.
So we have rehearsals 4 days a week.
Wow.
And I'm not used to doing a 5-week rehearsal process and then show. So I'm normally like an 8 to 9 week rehearsal process.
Man, yeah,
so
that is a quick turnaround time.
Yeah, so 5 week, boom. And what's really nice is the cast, the 15 cast members I have, they love the show. They know the show, they eat, breathe, and sleep the show. So it's not that hard to really get them to know the songs and things like that.
And of those 15 cast members, are there any, Greensburg Civic Theater devotees who are in the show? Do you have some newcomers? What's the makeup of the cast like?
So for me, this is my first time ever working with the Greensburg Civic Theater.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. I only have worked with 3 cast members.
Wow.
The rest are all new to me. And probably 90% of them are all new to the Greensburg Civic Theater.
Well, it's just amazing whenever opportunities like this arise for people to become aware of these different performing arts companies in Westmoreland County. I know this is unrelated to Rent at all, but there's that beautiful Stephen Sondheim tribute that's coming up very soon here.
I can't wait for that.
And it'll be happening by the time that this show airs, unfortunately. So you can go to it tonight if you're listening to this show live. If you're listening to it recorded, sorry, you missed it already. But just, opportunities for people to come together in these different companies that they may never have been aware of before, and coming out of the pandemic, well, hopefully, it's just a really beautiful time to return to theater, and Rent is such a perfect show to, get everybody back into the season of loving theater again.
Yes, absolutely.
And Edward, so my final kind of question here is, how can members of the public attend this show? You talk about the quick 5-week rehearsal turnaround time, which that is so intimidating for such a show as Rent. So I give you all the kudos in the world.
Thank you. So the best way really is to visit us on Facebook, the Greensburg Civic Theater, or the Palace Theater, and we have a link up there. You can't miss it. It's a big rainbow sign that says Rent. Get the tickets here. You go there, pick your day. So it is the 11th, 12th, and 13th, 8 o'clock, and 2 o'clock. Or you can just go directly to the Palace Theater website and purchase tickets for them as well.
Perfect. And this is a really nice show that's right near Valentine's Day. So if you have a special somebody that you'd like to do something nice for, going to see Rent would be a very good option for you.
Absolutely.
Anything else to share from your process with Rent or the Greensburg Civic Theater in general?
I would say get your tickets soon because they're moving fast.
Yes, especially for, again, we talk about this so much, a show such as this, you really, you want to beat all the crowd before they show up to get the tickets.
Correct.
All right, Edward, thank you so much for your time, and best of luck with the rehearsal. Such a beautiful show, and we're really excited for you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Please check out Greensburg Civic Theater, and especially their production of Rent. You can find them at gctheater.org and on Facebook and Instagram. And if you're interested in tickets, you can find the Greensburg Civic Theater on Facebook or go to thepalacetheater.org. Shows are February 11th, 12th, and 13th at 8 p.m., and then a matinee on the 13th at 2. This is Heritage Happenings, the show with the latest information on Westmoreland County cultural and historical events and organizations. I'm Jessica Petrovich. Thanks to our sponsor, St. Vincent College, for supporting our show today. Before we close, we have a quick announcement to share from St. Vincent College, our show's sponsor. A St. Vincent College rugby contingent has been chosen for an all-star event. 4 members of the St. Vincent College Rugby Club have been chosen to take part in the National Collegiate Rugby All-Star Shield Challenge, slated for mid-January in Houston, Texas. The St. Vincent College Women's Rugby Club team will be represented by 3 students, including junior philosophy and theology major Mary Kahn of Doylestown, Pennsylvania, sophomore environmental science major Bridget George of Warrenton, Virginia, and sophomore biology major Gianna Georgiana of Hollidaysburg, Pennsylvania. With their selection by their conference, the Allegheny Rugby Union, they were named 3 of the best players in the greater tri-state area. Senior Lance Phenumia, a communication major from Juneau, Alaska, will represent the St. Vincent Men's Club team, having been chosen from a field of players representing colleges from the Division 1, 2, and 3 levels. In addition, Eulalia Books announces the first winner of the Joe O'Connor Chapbook Prize. Eulalia Books, a small press publisher housed at St. Vincent College, will publish the poetry chapbook Cold by Meg Maddich, class of 2011, whose manuscript was selected as winner of the first Joe O'Connor Chapbook Prize. During her time at St. Vincent, Maddich majored in English with a concentration in translation and minors in German and literature. After graduating, she attended Columbia University for poetry and literary translation and studied at the University of Iceland, where she learned the Icelandic language. Her best-known translational works are Cold Moons and Magma, the latter of which has been an Oprah's Book Club selection. She has an extensive resume which boasts a wide array of skills ranging from editing to translating to writing prose and poetry. Maddich has won several awards for her work, including a Penheim Translation Prize and a Fulbright Fellowship to Iceland. Maddich's newest publication, Cold, is an eco-lyric immersion into the language and landscape of Iceland and a chronicle of fragility and perseverance. It is a work of translational poetics that dialogues with her translation of Cold Moons. Every fall, the editors of Eulalia accept submissions of poetry chapbook manuscripts from any former student of St. Vincent College or Westmoreland County resident whose poetry has not yet appeared in book form. Named in honor of SVC alumnus and poet Joe O'Connor, class of 65, the series spotlights the writing of members of the community whose poetry reflects serious commitment and merits broader recognition. The handmade books are produced by current St. Vincent College students as part of the small press publishing course taught by Michelle Gil Montero, Eulalia Books publisher and English department professor. A dedicated patron of Eulalia Books at the time of its founding, Joe O'Connor believed in the power of creating community near and far through poetry. His vision for Eulalia Books as a teaching press was to empower young poets to learn by doing. Joe predicted that through involvement with the press, young poets could conceive of poetry in a context beyond the classroom, and in the process, imagine new futures for themselves as readers and writers of poetry. Cold will be published January 24th, 2022. The Verostko Center for the Arts at St. Vincent College will host a launch event that will run from 5 to 7 p.m. and be open to the public. In addition to Maddich reading from the book, the students of small press publishing will display their book arts work from the semester. Initial prints of 100 copies are available for pre-order on the Eulalia website and will be shipped out every day of the release party, while an e-version of the book will be published later in 2022. To learn more about upcoming Eulalia Books publications, events, and more, visit its website at eulaliabooks.com, follow on Instagram and Twitter, and like on Facebook. That's all we have time for today. Be sure to stay safe and healthy. Take some time to visit and enjoy our Westmoreland County cultural and historic events and organizations. And of course, be sure to check out St. Vincent College and all of its recent accomplishments. Follow Westmoreland Heritage on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and check out all of our information on westmorelandheritage.org. This has been Jessica Petrovich, your Westmoreland Heritage Director and host for Heritage Happenings here on 98.7 Westmoreland Gold, 1480 WCNS, and westmorelandgold.net, sponsored by St. Vincent College. Heritage Happenings is also available as a podcast on all of your favorite streaming services. I hope you've enjoyed today's show. Until next time.
How will your college experience transform you? How will you learn to make a difference in your life and the lives of others? At St. Vincent College, we attract high-achieving students who quite naturally place we ahead of me. A small college like St. Vincent gives you more access to the opportunities that will shape your future.
At St. Vincent College, we succeed together.
Together.
Discover the power of we. Learn more now at stvincent.edu.
At LHTC Broadband, we're proud to provide the communication services you need to get the most from today's technology. We're your local choice for TV, phone, and internet. We offer high-quality cable TV service with HD, multi-room DVR, on-demand, and watch TV everywhere. Plus unlimited calling, and our internet is faster than ever with speeds up to 1 gigabyte. With no contracts and local customer service, switching has never been easier. Call today, 724-593-2411, or visit lhtcbroadband.com.